This is Faisal Kawoosa and I am here with another edition of TechWrap. Well, this week I wanted to talk about many things, but I'm really disappointed with the price announcement of JioPhone Next. So I thought let me keep this edition exclusively talking about the phone, its pricing, and some other implications which are out there. I think there are some 2-3 important things which we now need to understand after seeing the JioPhone Next pricing. The first and foremost is that probably technology cannot solve each and every problem. We, over the years and now aggressively for some months, we were hearing that Jio, Qualcomm and Google, they have collaborated and there will be something extraordinary coming up, and we'll see a game changer, a trendsetter phone which will finally and eventually solve the one of the major problems of how to get feature phone users into the smartphone base. But eventually nothing like that happened. We saw a phone coming up with, I would say, good specs at that price point, but there is no phenomenal change or something like, there's no wow factor in it. Pricing is a big disappointment, of course. It's a steep jump still for someone wanting or at the threshold of getting into a smartphone space. I think JioPhone earlier versions were much better propositions, though they were maybe workaround or whatever you want to call it. I think from technology standpoint that was much better, or you can say a kind of substantial jump than what has been revealed after yesterday's pricing. The other important thing which everyone in the ecosystem needs now to understand and realize, that the Indian consumer is very smart. No longer can anyone fool the consumer around by just offering something and say, hey, let's listen, this is something wow. Everyone knows that Pragati OS is a derived version of Android Go. So nothing revolutionary out there again, and we know how the story of Android Go has gone. Similarly, the Snapdragon which is being used in this, it was again designed by Qualcomm long back for Android Go devices. So I think this repackaging doesn't work now in India. We need to really have fundamentally built products which are essentially made for India and Indian scenario. Pricing also, needs to be factored while designing something for Indian scenario. Looking at what are the elements and constituents of this phone, no consumer will be willing to pay this money, which looks very premium for an old technology, which yes, there might be some improvements. We are yet to see the device. But the fundamentals or the building blocks are very old. So why should anyone be paying premium for the components and other elements out there which are very old and which existed out there? So my suggestion to the entire ecosystem out there would be, please do not get into this habit of exciting everybody in the ecosystem that we are doing something fundamentally different, and then come up with something which already exists there with some incremental changes maybe. I think that's never going to be great, and it will never be received with a great welcome by consumers or others in the ecosystem. So 2 things so far. Number 1, technology cannot solve each and every problem. Second, a request, a humble request, earnest request to the entire ecosystem out there. Please do something fundamentally, great, rather than, repackaging and doing incrementally good things and then, going with a lot of fanfare that we have done something great for the country. I may sound too aggressive on this, but I really felt disappointed that three of the great technology companies were there in this whole process, and there's something great for the consumers out there. This cannot be a solution for upgrading or getting anybody from feature phone to a smartphone, period. Now, the third learning out there is that as technology cannot solve it, so our problem of increasing the smartphone base is more a business problem. And guys, other than Jio as well, which includes Airtel, Voda, BSNL for that matter, should now think about aggressively that if 2G is going to stay out there and there is no technology solution available with the ecosystem, how do we solve this problem through business solutions out there? Yes, we saw yesterday's financing scheme, which I would prefer should have been much easier. We are addressing a segment which doesn't understand many things fundamentally, and we are putting them into processing fee, EMI, and all those kind of things. Kindly also look at what kind of segment you are trying to address, and then conceptualize these schemes. These are again going to confuse consumers like anything at that segment where we are trying to hit at. So if it is established now that there is no great solution out there with the entire ecosystem to make India 2G Mukt, then I think it means 2G is going to stay here for a while. Maybe this is an opportunity for someone like BSNL to, I know they don't have yet the 4G thing, or even, we don't know about 5G yet. Maybe it's a great opportunity for BSNL to, partner and collaborate with other telcos and predominantly focus on 2G, because that's still an area. Maybe other private operators want to, get out of that space. So there could be some collaboration between, some operators out there with the BSNL, so that 2G subscribers are also very well addressed and served. And as along, we are looking at, moving from 4G to 5G. So both things go in parallel. I think that's one of the possible ways of looking at the whole thing around. And last of all, my all compliments to brands like Xiaomi, especially the Redmi series, Realme, the Transsion Group brands like Infinix, Techno, itel, and all brands out there who focused on this segment where anyone tries to get from a feature phone to smartphone, and without any fanfare, I would say, they just offered something which a consumer readily accepted and got a decent experience at those price points. No constraints of locking with a particular operator. Consumer is still the king by using those devices. So I think they deserve a bit of compliment from all of us, because as as I posted yesterday also, millions and millions of users were able to get into smartphone because of these brands out there. So all compliments to them. Of course, Micromax and Lava and Intex had their contribution essentially, by expanding the base in early years. But the second phase only came because of these brands out there. I think they need to continue to innovate for the larger segments out there, to democratize technology. I think that's a great charter these guys have adopted. And that's what essentially India needs to have more and more smartphone users. This is what I had to share with you. Might look a bit of a strong views, but I think we have to be truthful and honest to what we see around happening. I can only say that I'm very much disappointed with what we saw in JioPhone Next as a complete offering when one looks at the price, because that's very important. And there is still a lot of opportunity for others to explore and do something great. Operators like Airtel, Voda, BSNL should definitely look into the space and see how they can do better here. And finally, wishing you all a great Diwali. Next week it's going to be Diwali, so we will not have any TechWrap edition next week. I'll be back with you a week after, and wishing you all a happy and prosperous Diwali.